Thank you for joining the Reverend Dr. Sean Michael Greener, radio host, national pastor, author, and speaker for Sundays with Dr. Sean. Hold on tight. Here comes the truth.
Well, fair warning. Buckle up, Buttercup. Something's got my ire this morning. This morning. You know, I guess it's, what time is it? 1:38. It does. Got me mad. Hold on, when I plug in this little doohickey here, give you a little better sound experience, because that's what we're about here. All right. Couple things. So first of all, I am going to touch on Lamentations, but this is The Collision of Faith and Politics, name of my radio show is Collision. It's also available on Spreaker. So if you have Spreaker and you say, hey, I got to bow out, but I'm going to be driving, then go ahead and click on to Spreaker. You'll be able to download it. And go to spreaker.com. Look for the Ninja Pastor or Dr. Sean, S-H-A-W-N, Greener. Boom. The Collision of Faith and Politics. It'll pop up. Free app, the blah, blah, blah. Whatever kind of phone you have. So, not politically correct. There's one disclaimer. Two, I have to say unequivocally, I am unapologetic for what I'm about to say. And three, there are a lot more people out there saying this kind of within their small groups or within their close friends that they feel comfortable and confident in expressing this to. We all think differently politically, except for the ones that think the same. I'll say that again. We all think differently politically, except for the ones in which we think the same or similar. All of us, we think different. We've all come from different places. We all, and some of us think vastly differently, and we're from the same place. We went to the same schools. We grew up together. We grew up in the same community. We're home folk. But that doesn't mean we all believe the same thing politically, religious, faith-wise, any of those things, any of the topics that I bring up. I don't expect even people, my home people, I don't expect them to believe the same. I'm okay with them not. The difference is on the right, conservatives, and especially Christian conservatives, for whatever reason, we are tolerant of people saying really mean things to us and really ignorant things to us, calling us really ignorant names. We're fine with it. We're like, well, it's home folk, we for whatever reason, we're fine with people saying things about us and to us that are ignorant. They're ignorant. Some of these things are horrible things to say. And yet, we listen to it, and we go, well, we believe different, I respect everybody for their opinion. We, on the right, give a great deal of latitude to an awful lot of people on the left, whether they're our friends or they're not our friends. That's just how we are. That's just what we do. And then, when we get to a certain point where we've had enough, and we throw an elbow or a throat punch, and we say, we're done with you. We're done with you treating us this way. We're done with... All of a sudden, oh, the right is mean. They're so divisive. They do the same thing in their Antifa crap. I'll tell you what will shut that Antifa crap down. Number one, shut down the payments to them, because they're getting paid by Soros and the left and all kinds of organizations. When it costs them physically to tear up taxpayer-funded things, when it costs them physically to harm decent people, decent law-abiding people, when it costs them physically to impede progress of ambulances and so many things, police turning over police cars, setting police cars on fire, blocking ambulances, all of these things. I mean, it's when it costs them physically, that'll slow that stuff down. But I'm going to tell you something. The very first thing, and you got to stop being surprised. Read Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. Do not pay for a copy. They are free. You can download it for free. It's very short. Don't put any money in their pockets. Read Rules for Radicals. It's super short. It's more or less a large pamphlet. And read what they do. Read how they do it. And I'll tell you what. When I was a police officer, and the police officers listening can vouch for this, as soon as you lay hands on somebody, they're all, go ahead, you put that gun down, you go ahead and put that gun down, put that badge down, you boys put them guns and badges down, you see what happened to you. Oh, we'll see how tough you are. And then, which I've done this, okay, unload my weapon, not supposed to do this, I'm just going to tell you, unload your weapon, hand it to your partner. Okay, here's my radio. He's got my radio. He's got my firearm. Got my pepper mace. All right, let's go. Let's go, big boy. Let's go, angry lady. Oh no, I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. Y'all are going to jump me. This is just a setup. Or let's say they're beating on people, blocking ambulances, fighting police, throwing rocks. And the police put hands on them. All of a sudden, oh, look what they're doing. They're hurting us. They're doing this. Or let's say somebody on the right, one of the people peacefully protesting, doing it how it should. As soon as they put, jackbooted thugs, they say that about the police. And then as soon as a citizen who's there legally, who disagrees with the Antifa and the left, as soon as you start throwing hands, start putting people on the ground, oh, they're hurting us, please, 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 come. That's what they do. You've got to accept that. You've got to accept what they do. This is what they do. Now, specifically, what's got me fired up is this. So I have a dear friend, grew up with, graduated with, good person, happens to have become a conservative. Wrote, Governor Cuomo, 5,000 elderly nursing home residents are dead now because you mandated those people be exposed to COVID-19 patients being returned to nursing homes. Now, I'm paraphrasing that because I don't want to give this person's identity away, because I don't want them to have to face all the crap they'll have to face from the left. So I added, 5,000 elderly nursing home residents are dead now because you mandated these people be exposed to COVID-19 patients being returned to nursing homes, while Samaritan's Purse Hospital, free of charge, and USNS Comfort, hospital ship Comfort, was available. Thousands of rooms, thousands of completely capable, but you sent them back to the nursing home. That's you, Governor Cuomo. You did that. Now, we can debate. We can say, well, you guys that know me know, the last time I was forced to take needles, hundreds of them, into my arm, my rear end, was when I was in the military. After that, hey, I'm a free citizen. You can't put needles in me. So you guys know I'm not 100% anti-vaccine, 100%, not 100%. There are some circumstances where I understand, I know the ingredients, and I'm okay with it. But for the most part, I think government telling people, oh, I'm going to stick these needles in your arms, and I'm going to give you something you don't know what it is, but it's for your good. That's the only way, really, you're going to be allowed back out in public, is if you have this COVID-19 vaccine. I'm not doing it. I don't trust them at all. Do I trust Burks and Fauci? No. Research their histories. Is Burks a nice lady? Sure. She rocks the scarf? Sure. She's worked a long time. She was in the Army, served at a very high level. Fauci, look at his history. Pay attention. Look at what you're being told to do. Hide in your house. Hide in your house. Isn't that something that all these celebrities and stars kept saying? You know, if we don't have a major collapse of this economy, Trump's going to be reelected. What we need is a collapse of the economy. And what do you see? You say, well, that's tinfoil hat wearing. This hat's made of straw, bruh. Hemp, actually. It's not made of tinfoil. I can read, I can research. Reasonably intelligent guy. I don't look past this and go, well, that's a big coincidence. And neither does President Trump. Neither is he. You think he's being hoodwinked by Fauci and Burks. He's not. Trust me on this. He's not. So I wrote this. Those on the left, I ask you, would you mind indulging me in what you would have done given the World Health Organization and the CDC were advising at the outset of this, air quotes, crisis? Now, of course, it is far easier to speak with accuracy in retrospect. You see, that's what the left does. They will wait until something happens. They'll wait until something happens, and then they'll criticize it as though they would have done the opposite or something different of what the conservative or Republican in charge did. They'll wait till we take action and then they'll criticize it. So easy to do. It is infinitely easier to wax critical when the events upon which one's comments are already decisions already passed. Against the scoffing snide advice of the WHO, CDC, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, and more, our president barred travel to and from China, with the exceptional repatriated Americans who were asked to self-quarantine for 14 days upon coming back to the United States. If you were an American and you were overseas, and this is going on from China, let's say whatever country you're in, you're working there, you're doing whatever, you're advising, you have a U.S. government job, whatever you're doing, doesn't matter what you do. So you're an American over there, and we're locking it down. Wouldn't you want us to let you through? Oh, no, I wouldn't. I would just stay there because I want to do what's right for Americans. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. You guys are so full of crap. No, I would have done what's right for everybody. We're all in this together. No, you'd have been just like me, except I'd work a little differently. I find my own way. You'd have been calling the State Department going, y'all, can y'all get me back over to American Soul? I don't want to be over here anymore. There's bad stuff happening here. You'd have been on the phone immediately, left. You act like in retrospect, everything is exactly how you say. But here's the thing. Our president was roundly assailed as a racist, a xenophobe, and more for taking this bold action. Oh, he was horrible. He was horrible. Now, these same folks, the very ones who mocked and assailed our president for taking this very bold action, now, well, he didn't act fast enough. He didn't act bold enough. You see, in retrospect, it's quite tempting to assail your avowed opponent for the actions they took, waxing expertly on what you would have done. Oh, sure. Super easy after the fact. But here's the thing. We have video and audio of those very same political opponents speaking out of each of the sides of their mouths. We have video, we have audio. Modern technology, ain't it a thing? You are bereft of facts, the very facts of history and actions on both sides of the political aisle. Isn't it interesting to you that the economic drivers of this country, of our country, America, that's my country. My country isn't the world. I'm not a global citizen. I've been to 54 countries. I've stamped out. I'm on my 4th passport. I've been a lot of places, done a lot of things. I'm an American. I love America. I don't love what the left is doing to America, and I don't love what some of the folks, and I'm going to tell you this, you take this how you want. Take this how you want, you do what you want with it. I don't like what some of the folks on the right, the alleged right, are doing to this country. I don't like the fear and the whining and the complaining. I don't like it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of weakness. You say what you want about Rand Paul. I'm not a huge Rand Paul supporter. I've met him. He's a little tiny guy. I didn't think he was that. It seemed like he was bigger to me. He's a very smart man. He's an eye surgeon. Not a dumb guy. Knows the Constitution. Is he libertarian? Yes, he is. Don't hate him for other things, but don't hate him for that. The guy's got a point a lot of the times. You're reasonable people. You cannot possibly miss the fact that the economic drivers, it's not too small to miss. You have to be able to see that small to medium-sized businesses, which are the drivers of this country, my country, the United States of America, I love this country. Small to medium-sized businesses drive 82% of the economy. And they are begging, we must reopen or we will die. Those people, and I've been one. Those people have put all they have. I know what it's like to run all your credit cards up to the max, self-funding your business. I know what it's like to work 16, 18-hour days in bad circumstances to provide for your family. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to put everything you have into your livelihood, and now you're at the precipice of disaster. That is an incredibly high cost. No one values life more than people who are pro-life. All of life, not just babies, all of life. But let me ask you something. Dentist offices are closed. They're shuttered because they're not essential, but abortionists still practice freely? Somebody help me with this. Churches are being fined and parishioners are being arrested for sitting in their cars in the church parking lots, a space apart, windows up, radios playing the pastor's voices. And you're telling me that's non-essential. Let me tell you something. You may hate left. You may hate that our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. You may hate that at the base of our Constitution is faith. You may hate it, but you can't undo the truth. You can revise history all you want to try. But you know what? There's still enough of us who know the history. We know the reality. We know what's true. And we will not relent. Hashtag decide, resolve, stand. You better look into what you believe. You better decide what you believe. Then you better steel your resolve, and then you better stand. That lady in Texas who stood up and said, no, I'm not selfish. If you want to call feeding my family selfish, so be it. So be it. But I'm opening my shop. I'm smart enough to figure out how to bring people in. And, okay, if we believe that masks work, okay, whatever. Whatever fanciful little Halloween costume, hoo-yah, Frank or not. Thanks for joining us. I'm honored that you joined. If you want to play that game, fine. An N95 mask and above, the only thing that stops it. And if you don't know how to wear it, if it's not fitted properly, and if you don't do all the right things surrounding the proper donning and doffing of that N95 or better mask, it's worthless to you. It's just a show pony. I'll talk more about that in a minute. So you're telling me abortion clinics unfettered, unaffected. No rules regarding abortion clinics. You deem them necessary, left. You deem abortion clinics necessary, but a dentist, not so much. The tether to abortion, I've been told, well, there's no relation here. They're unrelated. It's apples and aardvarks. No. I'll show you how they're created. The tether to abortion is indeed relevant because the constitutional rights of believers to assemble and practice their faith is infringed while the abortionist parking lots and offices remain full. I'm going to ask you a quick question, scaredy cats. Do you not stand as firmly on mosques being closed, just as Christian churches, Catholic churches? The mosques receive no such order. Police officers aren't going to mosques breaking them up. It's readily apparent that many on the left have a deep and abiding personal hatred for our president, President Trump. That seems to drive everything from the left. Hatred. They hate the man. What's more important for you to realize, they don't just hate President Trump. The left doesn't just hate President Trump. And the left includes your friends, some of your family, all of these things. They don't just hate President Trump. They hate you. They hate you. When you're not looking, they are poking fun at you. How many hot mics have we seen? How many times have I been protecting someone very, very prominent? And they don't know how I believe. They just know this big guy standing here and he looks like, you better not do what I tell you not to do or there'll be pain involved. They don't know how I believe or stand. And they talk around you like you can't hear. And you hear some of the most horrid things come out of their mouths. Disgusting. Disgusting. There's much talk from the left about science and reason, keeping the United States closed until there are no further cases, until we have a vaccine, as though that's a remotely viable solution. Do you not understand? It is in no way viable. It is impossible. Are you not just remotely suspicious of the timing of all this? Are you not suspicious of the only solution of the left is to shutter the entire U.S. economy? Fauci? Burks? No, you don't need a mask. No, early on. You don't need a mask. No, you don't need one. Also, Fauci and Burks cornered a little bit later. Well, we lied about that because we didn't want to run on PPE. Well, we lied about that. Well, we had to work around that. We didn't want to run on PPE. So we told you something that was untrue. We knew it was untrue. We're supposed to trust these people implicitly. Now, we know what they are. They're both Democrats. They've been in multiple administrations, so we can't say that they're an Obama holdover. Yes, they're an Obama holdover, but they were in administrations before that. Now, they don't work for the administration. They work for agencies that interrelate with organizations. Infectious disease, allergy place, the WHO, all these things, all these connections. I don't like any of them. But under the guise of public health, this is how they do what they do. Not all of it is horrible, but a lot of it is not good. Look, I will not debate the left on the mountains of documents and studies demonstrating the folly of hiding in your house as your immunity erodes further every day. You hide in your house. We know this for a fact. My dear friend, Dr. David Friedman, phenomenal world-renowned doctor, best-selling author, #1 health and wellness radio show in the world. He says on USA Today, writes an article, go outside, get some sun. Fresh air and sunshine helps kill the virus. He's ridiculed. And then we find out, well, yeah, actually that is true. But we shut down beaches. And we allow governors and town mayors to shut down beaches. We allow them to say, hey, we can't trust you to not do what we're going to tell you not to do. So we're going to shut it down. And you know what? Even more than that, we're going to put barricades across the parking lot so nobody gathers here to look at the ocean, to take their shoes off and walk and ground and get that magnetic force coming from the sand stronger than anywhere else in the world, with the exception of Sedona, Arizona. And we're gonna say, no, you can't go in that ocean. Those healing powers that come from that, which we know are scientifically absolutely correct. No, herd immunity. No, on this occasion, we're not going to observe that long-established truth in science. Why? Because this is so bad. This is so bad. And we don't have a vaccine. We don't have a vaccine. The timing of it. We got to shutter this country. We've got to shutter this country. We've got to shut down the economy. If we don't do it, we all die. Millions die. And so, have you read the polls? They're still saying Biden is beating President Trump by many, many points. Look, we know science and we know reason. We're not dumb. I will say this, as one who has worn military and police uniforms, hiding isn't how we fight. This is not how we win against any enemy. We don't fight and win. In America, we don't fight and win by hiding. That's not how we do. Now, we may flank you. We may go under, we may go over, we may go around. We may set up a hasty ambush. We may do any number of things, but we ain't backing up. That's not how we do here. That's not how we do. That's not what we are. That's not who we are. You have got to be kidding me if you think the right way to do this is to hide in our homes. You say, well, in New York City and in so-and-so and such, in this place and that place in Italy, I'm going to tell you something. If you really believe that all of those deaths are COVID-19, I have got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. I'm going to tell you, only a fool believes that. How do I know this? I know it for a fact. I know it for a fact because I know doctors and nurses who are throwing their hands up going, look, I need a career. I need my income. I have to take care of my family. But this stuff that's happening around here, saying that someone died of COVID-19, we haven't even examined. They came in with 9 different things of comorbidity. 9 different things they've got going on. Oh, and they're 120 pounds overweight. Oh, and they're 81 years old. You refute that with the small number of otherwise, we think, healthy people at younger ages. Oh, how about that little child? How about this? Am I saying those people don't matter? Absolutely not. Am I saying that the elderly don't matter? Absolutely not. I revere the elderly. I treat the elderly with love and kindness and respect. But you're not going to tell me. I'm going to flatly and roundly refuse right to your face. It's about dollars. This is not about care. Putting someone on a respirator is very nearly a death sentence. And you point to the big parades that they have, the doctors and nurses lined up clapping for the people being wheeled out after 50 some days in intensive care, critical care, and being on a ventilator. I know people, and I've watched people on ventilators. I know respiratory therapists. I know pulmonary specialists, doctors, who tell me, they all tell me the same thing. A respirator is very nearly a death sentence for someone who has a virus. The long-term ramifications are extraordinary. Why do they do it? Why do they mark down COVID-19? When they know it's probably not that, it's the 9 other items of comorbidity. They do it because it pays. You say, how cynical. It's true. Check with Medicaid. Check with Medicare. Check with hospital insurance companies. Check with hospital administrators. They're paid $13,000 at a minimum for diagnosing every diagnosis they get. What happened to all the heart attacks? What happened to all the strokes? What happened to all the COPD? What happened to all the car crashes? What happened to all the people dying of accidents? What happened to the suicides? They're actually coding as COVID-19 deaths suicides. It was a contributing factor, the stress and related, and they get paid. If you put a person on a respirator for 10 seconds, you get $36,000 up. Why do you think they say they need so many respirators? Hospitals are not overrun. You say, well, that's because initially we observed social distancing. Initially we self-quarantined. We did the things. And now it's paying off. And you guys are getting impatient. And you want to run out and infect everybody. Oh, not so fast, Slam Dancer. Slow down a little bit, Slam Dancer. We're going to circle back to that. First of all, if you believe that that's why this happened, what about countries that instituted intense shutdowns? They had scores of people die. But what about countries that didn't shut down anything? They didn't shut down anything. Yeah, it was present in their country. They didn't shut anything. Did people die? Yes. Sadly, people died. But if we can save one life, if we can just save one life, you might echo the left's most fond sentiment. Oh, most fond, second most fond, next to Trump bad. Well, that's their favorite thing. Trump bad. He's an embarrassment. We're an embarrassment in front of other countries. The number two, while clutching their pearls, is if we can only save one life. If we can only save one life, it's worth it. It's worth it. We'll save one life. I'll remind you, yesterday, 3,880 babies were murdered. Yesterday alone, 3,880. Whose lives? Somebody help me with whose life is worth it or not worth it. Who are you telling me is worth it or not worth it? Why do you tell me that the people you select are worth it? You tell me why Governor Cuomo is receiving, now he's being titled by the press, America's governor. Well, he's not my governor. He believes in things that are abhorrent. He supports partial birth and full birth abortion. Allegedly, he's an Italian Catholic. Practicing Catholic. Allegedly, he is. He's not my governor. He is the governor of New York. I live in North Carolina. I don't like my governor at all. Cooper, I'm going to do everything I can to get you bounced right on out of office. And it's going to be my endeavor to see to it you never work in government again, because you are an embarrassment. Run, Forrest, run. Dan Forrest, I'm going to support you 1,000%. I know lots of other people do. But if we can convince those people in the cities who still believe to this day, they still believe the lie that, oh, the left is for you. You will never make it if we're not in charge. If the conservatives are in charge, they're going to lock you up. Vice President Biden said, presidential candidate Biden said, they're going to lock you up. They're going to put you in chains, man. Nobody raised a concern. That this man says this in a slave owner mock Southern accent. They're going to put you back in chains, man. You have to be insane to look at this man and go, oh, okay, yeah, run him for president. You have to be insane to not see the seething hatred the left has for the president. So when they can't get him, they go after Kavanaugh. When they can't get him, they go after Gorsuch. When they can't get him, they go after you. I started this with a comment about friends. Friends. And you want to talk about racism. In Wilmington, Delaware, 82% of all babies to black mothers do not survive the womb. Now, who's the racist? Who's trying to kill off a race? Not me. I'd surmise not you. Meanwhile, we hear this. We hear it from the press. We hear it from friends. We hear it from so many people that you're a racist, you're a xenophobe, you're a bigot, clinging to your Bibles and your guns. No, Cuomo, you're not my mayor. You're not my governor. You're not my governor. You're not remotely any representative of mine at all. And while we're at it, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, the 45th duly elected, despite the massive cheating on the left, the duly elected President of the United States of America. If you are a citizen of the United States of America, guess what? That is your president, and he is my president, and I'm proud of him. Now, I will say this. I've said it from the beginning. Would I do everything exactly as he does? No. I probably wouldn't. Would I try to say things a little bit more delicately? Probably would. That's why I've never been president. That's why he is the president. That's why he beat 16 of our very best on the GOP. Roundly, soundly whooped their pants. Whooped their behinds. And emerged in front and beat the cheatingest, lyingest, killingest presidential candidate ever to run for the office. The most crooked person ever. He won, despite all that. As tough as I like to think I am, he's a whole lot tougher. And he is my president. I'll end with this. I'm gonna do a separate broadcast on Lamentations. I'll do that today. I promise you, I'll do it today. I'm gonna do that separately because I don't want to have this infused with this. We'll put it separately so you can download them both. You won't have to listen to all this in order to get to that. But I'm super excited about Lamentations, continuing on Netflix. It's on my book right here. I'm going to be doing Lamentations today, a little bit later today, a little bit later. I'm going to tell you this. You have friends. And you have to evaluate your friends. You have to say, hey, you know what? I don't know that I'm in alignment with this person any longer. I don't know that I can, on the basics of things. Now, my friends, I have many different friends. I've had liberal friends, and I have had ultra conservative friends, far more conservative even than me. And I'm able to bridge that gap by saying they mean well. They have a good heart. They may believe differently, but they love America and they love God. And I have many friends that are atheists. I have many friends of many different faiths. And I have friends of no faith. They're ambivalent. We bridge that gap because we can agree on a few simple things. The fact of the matter of it is, look at your friends list. These people that are calling you ignorant, deplorable, science deniers, dumb, unrefined, stupid, robot-like followers, Trumpian, all of these things. Not only do they not have your best interest at heart, they don't have America's best interest at heart. There comes a point, and I have friends who have said, I'm terrified. I am terrified to speak out among my friends list or my friends that I go do things with, play tennis, golf, go on walks, whatever, that have said, you know what, I can't take this anymore. I can't not say what I know is true. What has been true and what continues to be true is the left has always been able to disagree with us, and we have been able to peaceably abide. But that is no longer true for the most part. You see, if I own a business and I have someone that works for me and I know they're, huge leftists, but they work hard, they do a good job, they treat people with respect, all that, they treat my business with respect, they're honest, they're good at their job, come on, I'll employ you, sure. You have every right to believe how you believe. The difference is employers who are leftists, who have conservative employees, those leftist employers and co-workers will not stand. I know lots of people that are afraid to stand up and step up and speak up, even with the utmost in respect and dignity about what they believe. God forbid you're a Trump 2020, keep America great supporter in your workplace. There was a time where we could coexist. We didn't change things. Conservatives didn't change things. We didn't change anything. I have friends that are Hollywood actors, big-time directors, big-time, they're big-time. I mean, they're movie makers and television show producers and directors and writers, actors, big-time actors that you would know that are conservative. And they live in fear. They tell me, Doc, every day I'm in fear. I believe so strongly these things, but every day I am in fear of being found out as a conservative. I have a dear friend, dear friend, one of the most principled people. He's a gay man. He's had the same mate for, I think, 20-some years. Wonderful human being. Extremely conservative. I know. Listen, don't you think Don't you think because the left tells you that you can't get along or that you're unkind to LGBT people, that's completely and patently false. This guy was more afraid to come out about being a conservative to his fellow gay friends than he was coming out to his parents that he was gay. Don't believe the hype. If I could encourage you in any way today, straighten your back. Hashtag decide, resolve, and stand. If we don't do that, we will have lost the most important battle of our lifetimes. I'm going to say this. Take it for what you want. It's no longer about preserving the freedom and liberty for our grand and great-grandchildren. If we don't win this stand here, there won't be any grand and great-grandchildren. Today is a great day to be alive. Today is a great day to be an American, a true American. Let's live like it.
Thank you for joining Dr. Sean today. Please follow Dr. Sean at www.drseangreener.com and on social media at facebook.com/smgreener, Twitter at The Ninja Pastor, and on Instagram at The Ninja Pastor. If you would like to support Dr. Sean's ministry and send Bibles around the world, don't forget to hit the donate page on drseangreener.com or go to paypal.me/Dr. Sean Greener to invest in spreading the Word of God to the world. And please download our free apps to listen to our Spreaker radio show. Thank you again for listening, and don't forget to share.